Hello? Hello! Welcome back from lunch. So I think we've got 6 sessions this afternoon. First up is Fred. Fred is probably one of my longest friends in the VoIP community. I actually remember the first time that we properly spent time together. It was in Fort Lauderdale at another conference, and you picked me up, and we went for food in a really good food place in Fort Lauderdale. So Fred has a project called APIBAN, and it's saved my bacon a number of times. So I'm going to let Fred tell you about APIBAN and what it can do for you. So take it away, Fred.
Thank you. I am Fred Posner. I'm not sure if the slides are up or no. Are you guys getting the slides? Or? Okay, because they're not on the screen. There you go. All right. So today is protecting WebRTC and SIP with APIBAN, and like Dan said, my name is Fred. Let's talk about the agenda, and let's talk about the talk. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to start off with a quick introduction, then explain what is APIBAN. We'll talk about how you would deploy APIBAN, because you should deploy APIBAN. We don't need to discuss the should, so let's discuss the how. And then we'll handle any questions or comments or criticisms. All right, so the intro. I am Fred. I love backpacks, and I love my daughter. I also love my wife, but I didn't include her in this picture, so hopefully she won't be mad at me when I get home. If you need to contact me, the easiest way is fred.tel, and that just has contact information. I'm a proud dad. I'm a consultant with LOD.com, and we primarily do voice consulting. My specialty is Comma Ilio because I'm also a proud member of the Comma Ilio project. Back in 2020, I found myself with a little bit of extra time. I wanted to learn Go. I wanted to learn about Go because I don't think I know Go. And so we had talked about in all of these conferences, wow, our systems are constantly getting attacked, just constantly getting attacked by script kiddies and SIP vicious and everything like that. And wouldn't it be great if we could share information among ourselves? Hey, I just got hit by this IP, let's block it, and things like that. And we always did it, and found myself with some time and started APIBAN in 2020. I'm based out of Florida, and again, either fred.tel or qxork.com for those in telecom. qxork.com is created because it's not A as in apple, B as in boy. It's letters that you don't have to spell out. So what is APIBAN? APIBAN is not fail to ban. I don't like fail to ban. And that's a direct quote. I really don't like fail to ban, which is what is mostly used to protect your systems from attack in, let's say, free PBX and things like that. And the reason why I don't like fail to ban is based on my experiences with it. I find that sometimes it uses high CPU and high memory. It's reactive. So, if I get hit by my system, my other system is just going to sit there and wait, and then it will get attacked and fix itself because it only runs on a single box. Another problem is we all have users, and they don't enter in the right password a few times, and then they get blocked by fail to ban. And I can never, for the life of me, remember how to remove someone easily, and it's just stressful for no reason, right? Because it's just hard to remember how to remove IPs and things like that. And I like IP tables, and so fail to ban just really doesn't work well with custom chains. So that is why I don't like fail to ban. So what if we had a simple API that allowed you to identify unwanted SIP and now HTTP traffic from hitting your system? And that is what the concept of APIBAN was. APIBAN costs $0, right? It's a free service. And its main sponsor is LOD.com, which again is the company I work with. And also because of our generous sponsors, which again is LOD.com, NetSapiens. So if anybody has a client that uses NetSapiens or you use it yourself, they can install APIBAN directly from their system there. Jambones, Dave Horton is an amazing person in our community. He's extremely generous. His software will integrate with APIBAN automatically, and he also helps sponsor the project, as well as Clearly IP. Past sponsor was Andreas with SIPFront as well. So, you know, we're very grateful for all these sponsors that helped us do a lot of great things. The way that APIBAN works is just old school honeypots, okay? At first it was just Comma-Ilio running. So Comma-Ilio would listen on both UDP and TCP, and on TCP, just regular TCP as well as TLS. It also detects non-SIP because of a built-in feature we have in Comma-Ilio, which in the core parser, it can detect if non-SIP is received on our SIP listeners and handle it that way. If an example of how this is bad is those huge DDoS attacks on VoIP that happened a few years ago. You know, SIP is kind of hard to DDoS, right? Because it's not really replicatable. However, DNS is. And DNS is also, you know, UDP, so what you're seeing in a lot of those attacks was DNS replicated on 5060, attacking these VoIP systems and just taking them down. Comma-Ilio, as a software, can detect that, hey, I'm receiving non-SIP, instantly banned in APIBAN. So our honeypots are detecting that non-SIP is also hitting them. We also are running on those same systems, Golang-based net HTTP listener in both regular HTTP and HTTPS. And so if any 80, 443, those type of ports get hit with HTTP, it gets added to the system as well. And we also do a variety of other ports here and there, just as normal people would, very common ports that people are listening to, as well as some alternate ones that people commonly run, just so that we can help people protect themselves. When an IP hits one of our honeypots, we call it active, and it stays active for 7 days. You can get, whoops, sorry about that. You can get a list of, come on back, Maury. You can get a list of all active IPs from our APIBAN, or from our API. You can also check a specific IP. So if you just had one IP, you can check, hey, is this blocked or not? You can get a list of active IPs since your last check, and that's how our clients work. And we average around 700 to 1,000 active SIP IPs at a given time. And on HTTP/S, we have about 1,000 to 1,500 active IPs. The way that you can deploy APIBAN is first get a key. Getting a key is simple. You just go to our website, click Get Key, and then you enter an email, and we email you the key. Check your spam, because everything is spam. And so, but you get a key. It's that simple. From there, you can use the API right away. We have documentation right on our website, or you can use the client. If you use the API itself, we have a post where you can check if something is banned. So our banned target there will give you lists of IPs in either groups of 250 or 500, and that works with, if you ask for just SIP or just HTTP, you'll get them in groups of 250. If you ask for SIP and HTTP together, then you get them in groups of 500, because, well, it's a free service, and I didn't feel like limiting it even more. All right, and then at that point, you also get a control ID, and then you just pass that control ID back, and it gives you the next group. Simple like that. Check is also a post, and that you just post an API, or you post the IP, and it will tell you, hey, is it blocked or not? And the site itself will tell you, okay, you're going to get 200, here you get a 400. You know, this is what happens if you do too much too quick. It's very simple. So here's an example. If you wanted to check if an IP was, for example, 1.1.1.1, which we all know is a horrible IP address that none of us should ever use for anything. 1.1.1.3 will block for your family, though. No, if I wanted to check if this is a blocked IP, I just send JSON with IP address, and then the set, I want to check if it's SIP. just send that. If I wanted to check if it was HTTP, I would just switch out HTTP for not, and then if it was blocked, I would get a response saying blocked, and if it was okay, you get a response saying it was okay. So you'd actually get a 404 back, but then to just emphasize that a 404 is good, it will say that that IP address is okay. Because you're checking if this is bad. So a 200 means it's bad, 404 means it's not bad. And if it's blocked, it will also give you the control ID for that specific IP address. You can do an IP set. IP set will let you use just SIP, or you can get all SIP and HTTP. It comes in just a regular IP set format, so you can use that to, let's say, integrate into common open source firewalls like OpenSense, PFSense, or your own kind of NF tables, whatever you want. As well as we'll give you a Cisco formatted result so that you could script that and put it into, let's say, an ASA, and as well as the same thing for Juniper. And that's basically for the API. It's simple, not much to do. For clients, we provide a Go-based client, and we also provide a bash script for older systems that don't support Go executables. But Go is the easiest method to deploy, and it's great. It just works out really good. We have APIBAN -client-go, which just integrates with IP tables. It will automatically check and block in your IP tables the systems. Okay, you can set it up in we have examples on how to set it up for the service running every, let's say, 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Once a week, it will flush everything and pull up a brand new list to make sure that you're pausing out the inactive IPs, and it just keeps your system up to date. The reason why I like doing it this way in IP tables is because IP tables works in layer 2 or 3, depending on how you want to argue it, versus you trying to block it in the software running, let's say Kamailio or something like that, which would be layer 7, right? So block it at the network layer, your performance, especially when you're getting a lot of traffic from it, is just incredibly improved. For people running, and this is mostly people running free PBX with fail to ban, we have an APIBAN fail to ban client, and what this does is it automatically adds it to a fail to ban jail for you. As far as managing fail to ban, that's on you, because like I said, I don't know the commands, but I know how to put one in there. So that it will do that for you, and it will also reset it every 7 days, just like the other one. And then we have a client in bash, like just a bash script, that will either use IP tables or NFT, whichever you want. So if you're running NFT tables instead of IP tables, it'll work there. Our APIBAN clients work with both IPv6 and v4. The APIBAN script just uses IPv4. And then we have a GitHub at GitHub/APIBAN. But there's more. I also made a local API that you can run called IP Tables API, which, again, because I don't like fail to ban, if I wanted a way to block something in IP tables myself, simply and easily, I thought that a curl command would be the easiest to run for most of your common systems, whether you're running something WebRTC or you're running Kamailio, FreeSwitch, FreePBX, anything like that. You see something you don't like, you can just run a curl command and set it. It supports get, and then because of Dan, it also supports post, push, and del. And it's not like he contributed, he just really complained. So it supports those methods. And just to make it simple, I'll show you, it's add IP, remove IP. It's that simple. So if I want to remove an IP, I just, add the IP. And for the IP, if I want to just run it as a get. So either one of those will work as a get. And if you run an IP, if you put in an IPv6 address, it will block in IPv6 tables. If you put in IPv4, it will block in IPv4. You can flush everything, and it would flush both IPv6 and IPv4. It makes its own chain called APIBAN local. And again, if you forgot add IP and you put in block IP instead, it will work because I forget things too. And same thing, like if you forgot remove IP and you put unblock IP, it will also work. And there's more, it supports post with all those as well, and documentation's right on the website there. And then I tried to leave at least 5 minutes for questions, so I want to thank you. And I would love to, any questions or comments. I'll start off with the first question I most commonly get is, how can you add IPs to APIBAN? And the answer is you cannot. We don't accept contributions of IPs, and the reason is trust. We don't trust anybody. And so the honeypots are absolutely not public. No carrier will ever get know of it. My main concern of the information being poisoned is that carriers have such a reputation of trying to poison, let's say, their competitors, that by not accepting any contributions of IPs from people, we just don't have that. Our philosophy is we'd much rather have bad IPs hit you than block a good IP. So right now, the only good IP that has ever been blocked is me, because I did a SIP-P test on one of our honeypots for an idiotic reason and didn't think. And I blocked myself for a week from a few clients, so that was great. Always have a backup IP. And with that, any other questions, please? Thank you.